good morning to today's session. Uh, I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, today we are going to discuss the third unit of understanding drama, that is different types of dramas. Okay, now I am going to present my PPT. After completion of my presentation, if you people have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, so now I'm going to present my PPT. I hope my presentation is visible.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay, thank you. Uh, uh, our course is course 1, that is BTH 001, the understanding of drama. And now today we are doing unit 3, which talks about different types of drama. Okay, welcome to today's session. Very good morning to all of you. And now today the topics to be covered are tragedy, comedy, melodrama, tragic comedy, history plays, problem play, realistic play, poetic play, and epic theater, and theater of upset. Actually, in this unit, we have something called the classical Indian theater also, but I've added for today's presentation because the topics are more today. So I thought of taking it separately for one entire session on the Indian classical theater. So that is also comes under unit 3, but today I'm not going to take up that. I'm only going to take up this tragedy, comedy, melodrama, tragic comedy, history plays, problem play, realistic, poetic drama, epic theater, and theater of upset. Okay. And the main objectives of this unit is to discuss in detail the various kinds of drama that we see being performed or read. The plays are categorized and labeled as tragedy, comedy, historical plays, problem plays, poetic drama, epic drama, and theater of upset, and so on and so forth, based on their generic difference in both their in construction and as well as their performance. Okay, the present unit explain as how these distinctions are made, what reasons behind the specific labels are, and what time period socially and politically has been responsible for these their growth. Okay, the first topic is tragedy. Tragedy, of course, a very important uh, type different types of plays. The first importance is given to tragedy. The Aristotle first tried to define tragedy in Poetics around 330 BC. He defined tragedy as the imitation of the action that is serious and also have a magnitude in the sense ki direction, complete in itself, in the medium of poetic language and in the manner of dramatic rather than of narrative presentation, involving incident arouse pity and fear. These two terms are very much important for tragedy. Pity and fear were within to accomplish the catharsis of such emotion. The catharsis, another word, is very much important in understanding the tragedy. Aristotle says that the tragic hero will evoke pity and fear if he is neither thoroughly good nor thoroughly bad, but a mixture of both, but is certainly better than we are in the sense that he is of a higher than the ordinary moral worth. In the sense that the tragic hero is coming from a higher strata of society. When the hero of tragic plays is chosen, is like is having some special characteristics that we discuss later. Such a man is exhibited as suffering a change in fortune from happiness to misery. That is a tragedy, isn't it? From happiness to misery because of his mistaken choice of an action, his own actions, not the other external forces make him to get into these sufferings, but his own decisions will make him to suffer from a change from a happiness to a misery, to which he is led by his hamartia. Hamartia is nothing but which is known as a tragic flaw or an error of the judgment or a moral weakness in the character. Tragic flaw means the a problem in the character himself. A plot evokes tragedy A plot evokes tragic pity and fear. Pity in the fear, in the sense ki pity in the fear about the character. The plot evokes tragic pity and fear. What does it mean? पीटी भी होती है कैरेक्टर को देख के, हमें उस कैरेक्टर को देख के डर भी लगता है. ये ट्रेजेडी का मेन खासियत है. In this way, tragedy reveals the spectators of harmful emotion. The dramatist depicts the incidents which arouse pity and fear for the protagonist, bringing the plot to a logical and foreseeable conclusion. In the sense that, as said earlier, it should be complete in itself, tragedy. तो complete story final तक ले जाते हैं. This explains how an audience experiences the satisfaction even from an unhappy ending. We are talking about a tragedy, but the people who are actually witnessing will reach a stage called catharsis. Catharsis is nothing but the purgation of emotion. Purgation of emotions is nothing but the purification of your emotions. You are, as an audience, we are going to a theater to view, having some different kinds of emotions within us because of the our daily life stress and all that. Once we see this tragedy, all our emotions get purified and will come to a stable state of mind, reveals our entire emotions, and we will again gain up energies to continue our lives. That is the main purpose of the tragedy. Aristotle definitions excludes many plays which are commonly thought of as tragedies. Not all tragic heroes suffer because of a tragic error. Contemporary critics suggest a cluster of overlapping perspectives which collectively describe the tragic vision. The modern definition for tragic hero or the tragic plays are slightly changing now. The first tragedy begins by asking the ultimate questions: Why are we here? The self retrospection of the own character will lead will make the play progresses. If, for example, if you see Raja Oedipus, the Oedipus Rex, he was happy one until unless he became the emperor. After that, he started thinking, "Who am I?" Then the problem starts. Who has created problem to his own country? Because he was the one who has created a problem for his own country, but he doesn't know that he was the main culprit. But he started questioning that what has happened, why there is a lot of problems to his own country. Then he got into many other problems which make him a tragic hero at the end of the play. Can life have a meaning in the face of so much suffering and evil in the world? These are the questions asked by the main protagonist. Does death negate the significance of the protagonist's life and the goals he or she is seeking? These are all questions were put up by a tragic play and trying to find out who is actually behind these incidents. You know, this hero must have an hamartia, which means a fatal flaw. A common hamartia in the Greek tragedies is pride. But the main protagonist will have a pride because of his own pride, his or her own pride. The situations will lead them to into a very tragic situation. Consistency is also needed in the sense that our hero should repeatedly show the same traits throughout the play. In the sense that the personality which is established in the starting of the play, it should not be get into some kind of violation of that. The standard of that particular should be maintained. Somebody is somebody microphone is on. I request you to please mute it. Lifelike. The other thing is he should also appear as a humanly as possible as we can relate to him. He's like any other character which we can relate to him in the sense he should have some three-dimensional qualities where we can also relate. Yes, these problems can also happen to us. There is a possibility that these situations can also happen to us. Then what will be our position? So that is the lifelike creation of a character. Still, I am finding some. Hello, hello. Still, I am finding some disturbance somewhere. Hello, who is there? Hello. बहुत सारे आवाज आ रहे हैं भैया।
प्रकाश जी आपका माइक्रोफोन ऑन है।
विकास, मिस्टर विकास,
प्रकाश प्रकाश सर, मिस्टर
प्रकाश,
प्रकाश।
प्रकाश, या मिस्टर प्रकाश, हेलो। ओहो,
सर आप म्यूट
ओके
कर दीजिए, आप होस्ट हैं, आप शायद म्यूट कर सकेंगे उनको।
यार, मैं प्रेजेंटेशन में लगा हूँ ना, मैं अभी ये काम करूंगा या फिर वो करूंगा। Then good. The hero would be having a demonstrate throughout his speech and actions that is he's morally sound, appropriateness of his character. He would also have to maintain the society ideas and the social behaviors. Men should be manly and so forth. In the sense ki appropriateness, yes, he's having this personality, he's having his moral values, and he's having an energies to prove that he's very strong man. These things, these elements should be there in the protagonist. The hero is one of the moral fiber that behaved nobly. This did not necessarily mean that the person or a king or a queen, but someone who can behave as one. As far as Oedipus Rex is coming, he's coming from another background. He's not a okay. He was a son of a king. Later, he becomes a you know Chakravarti, but it can be like anybody in a tragic play. That is what exactly meaning death. Although Aristotle did not feel that the hero should die, because in Oedipus Rex also, Oedipus doesn't die at the end of the play, but his eyes were taken out by he himself. That was the final decision he takes. This is the mistake I have done. He plucks his own eyes. That is a tragic ending of for that play, because there is no death as happening. But this is the way of plucking out his own eyes is not less than to a death of any character or any person. So, okay, lesson. What is the lesson which we are learning from this? Aristotle felt that the best outcome for the tragic hero would be to come out the tragedy, have realized their errors and judgment gained a life lesson. So अगर हम इस तरह का जजमेंट करते हैं किसी के बारे में, या फिर अपने ओन के जो अपना ओन सेल्फ को देखना चाहते हैं, या अपने मिस्टेक्स को हम पहचानना चाहते हैं, तो शायद हमें इस तरह का लाइफ लेसन बीस ट्रेजेडी प्लेस के साथ हमें मिलेगा. So tragedy offers no single solution. It depends on how you interpret that play. People suffer because of their own actions. That is the main problem. We also see that we will make some grave mistakes in our own lives. For that, we will be suffering for our entire life. Not with anybody else's life, but we'll take some decisions about our education, our employment, and our family members. We take some decisions which will lead us into some kind of a difficulties. Oh, and again, time. Hello, who is that? Again, Prakash.
सर योगेश योगेश
यार ये बड़ा मुश्किल होता है यार. Yogesh, are you listening to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please,
Sorry,
can you mute your microphone for God's sake?
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay. This is something very much disturbance. This is not less than a tragedy. At the time, tragic hero appears to suffer simply because he or she lives in a cruel and unjust universe. It happens in the play, Antigone. Antigone, she lives in a cruel and unjust universe. Because of that, she will suffer. Though the causes of suffering are diverse, they are different. Yet the purpose of suffering appears to almost universally acknowledged. Universally acknowledged in the sense that we can relate to those situations. Yes, अगर ऐसा होगा तो ऐसा हो सकता है. So only through suffering does a person attains a wisdom. After suffering, the person also gets some kind of a knowledge, some kind of experience, so that they can lead a better life. According to Francis Ferguson, the plays allow a tragic pattern of purpose, passion, and perception. Second, the tragedy pushes the individual to outer limits to existence, where one must live or die by one's own convictions. So it will take out to certain your own limitations, and it will make you to live in a better position, or it will lead to a tragic kind of a situation. Facing at the end of life, a person quickly recognizes life's ultimate values. Life में हमें क्या क्या करना है, ये हमें पता चल जाएगा जब आप एक ट्रैजिक प्ले देखेंगे। तो ये अच्छा, ये नहीं करना चाहिए था। इस तरह का सोच विचार को अगर हमारे मन में आता भी है तो उसको वहीं पे खत्म करना है, नहीं तो उसका परिणाम इस तरह से हो सकता है। Tragedy depicts the men and women who, dissatisfied with the hand destiny has dealt with them, challenge the rules of the game. Challenge the rules of the game happens in your Antigone play also. So, king is saying something and the law says something. The moral value says something. Which of the rules we are supposed to take? Whether should follow the government or we should follow the dharma. That is the question in your Antigone play. Tragedy does not depict a man as a helpless puppet dancing to the strings of the destiny, because he is taking his own decisions. No, he is not in the hands of anybody, but he is taking his own decisions. Because of that only he is facing the problem. This To put into Eric Bentley's word, tragedy cannot entail extreme pessimism, for that would be to lose faith in the man. So tragedy does not allow us to say कि एक्सट्रीम पेसिमिज्म में जाने के लिए वो हमें प्रेरित नहीं करता है, ताकि हम पूरी तरह मानवता के ऊपर अपना बिलीवेबिलिटी, उसमें हमें किसी को बिलीवेबिलिटी ही छोड़ दें, ऐसा नहीं है. Some tragedy type different there are different types of tragedies also. There is a revenge tragedy. So there is a dramatic genre which is arose in the late Elizabethan Jacobean period, which we have seen murders like Macbeth, Hamlet, Ghost आते हैं उसमें, humiliation होता है. So there are different kinds of. Seneca is also coming up with a Spanish tragedy. Thomas Kidd coming with a Spanish tragedy established. This is a very popular format which is followed by Christopher Marlowe and Shakespeare and Hamlet, as you know. They are all famous, but the Greek tragedies are the basic structure on which the things are followed. In the earlier unit, I was discussing about the unity of time, unity of space, and all that. They are very much intact in when it is Greek tragedy, but these rules were broken when it comes to Shakespearean tragedies, because Shakespearean tragedies have broken the unity of time, space, and all that, created many locations, many characters on the stage. But Greek tragedy will have at a time only three major characters acting on that, because they are using mask. Because only three actors performing all other characters. So for each character, they will be using different kinds of masks to demarcate that character, to not to create any confusion. So only three actors are acting, but they are doing many characters using the different kinds of masks. But this is not the case in Elizabethan period, where when you see the Macbeth play, there are a number of characters at a time on stage, played by many actors. There is a domestic tragedy, then there is a social tragedy. Notable tragedies of 19th and 20th centuries, as you know, A Doll's House, Ghost, or Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. These are all modern tragedies which we are talking about, but more or less the themes, the theory behind the tragedy is there's a tragic flow which is there in the protagonist creation itself, because of his own decisions. His life, not only his life, but the surroundings of his own paraphernalia is leading to a very tragic kind of a situation. So now we are coming to melodrama. The simplest definition for melodrama is a drama done to music. A drama done to music is nothing but a melodrama. Originally applied to the musical plays, including operas and all that, the protagonists are very flat type of characters. Hence, the drama relies on implausible events and sensational action. All your Hollywood movies, you can consider them as a melodramatic kind of a construction. Continuous action drives to the plot through a series of adventures. It thrives on thrills, excitement, and suspense behind, and there are some rescues. The conflict in the external and everything is delineated as a black and white. In the sense, the characters are either black or white. There is no gray. In the sense, अब जब भी आप हीरो को या प्रोटैगनिस्ट को देखेंगे तो उसमें पूरी अच्छाई आपको दिखेंगी. Other side, you see the villain, every bad element is there in him, but there is no something called को थोड़ा goodness भी है, थोड़ा badness भी है. ऐसा नहीं होता है मेलोड्रामा में. But now the things are changing. Now we are also finding a gray color, grayish, shade both in villain and as well as the hero. हीरो भी हम बैड गाय को दिखाते हैं, फिर अल्टीमेटली ही इज बिकमिंग गुड, एंड देयर इज वन विलन हु इज अ वेरी गुड मैन एंड slowly he is also becoming bad. So some kind of a grayish, because that is the change which is happening because of the time. Melodrama appears to deal with a very serious subjects, but this seriousness is not pretense. Okay, most of the serious drama never reach the heights of a tragedy, because they, as I said, they deal with very serious kind of a problems in melodrama also, but they never reach the heights of a tragedy, because they are all leading to a happy ending. In melodrama, everything is ends very happily. All is well, all is well. The your adventure films are the best examples for this. There's a lot of struggle, lot of suspense, lot of thrill, but at the end of the day, there is a happy ending. Villain going to, arrested by the police, or has been killed by the main protagonist. A hero, heroine getting married and lives happily ever after. So that is the final ending. So though the problem is very serious in melodrama, that doesn't reach to a very heights of a tragic situation when compared to a tragic play. And then romantic tragedy we are talking about. I'm jumping in between because to maintain some kind of an interest. Romantic tragedy, romances which are end happily or with the death of the hero or heroine, or can be categorized as a romantic tragedy. For example, your Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Heroic drama. This is a different kind of a genre. It is not doesn't belong to this tragedy or comedy, but it is giving some kind of a idea about the history of any person or a place or a country. Heroic dramas may not look deeply into the philosophical questions of good, evil, man's relations to supernatural, etc., but they abide by the rule of poetic justice to each and every character, and portray a swashbuckling adventures. For example, the the Count of Monte Cristo. Now we are coming to the other important genre of drama, which is called comedy. At the fundamental level, comedy focuses on the pleasure and amusement, pleasure, happiness. The spectators are made to feel confident that no greater disaster is going to occur. Usually, the action turns into a very happy for all. The आपको पता चल जाता है कि कॉमेडी में उतना सीरियसनेस नहीं होती है, वो हमें हमें एंटरटेन करने के लिए, एम्यूजमेंट करने के लिए हमें वो उसको क्रिएट किया जाता है. निकोल कहते हैं कि डिस्क्राइब द थ्री टेक्निक्स ऑफ कॉमेडी which creates a comic detachment. We laugh at the hardships of the comic characters because the author sets them at a psychological distance. Derision, incongruity, and automatism. The human frailties such as stupidity, hypocrisy, arrogancy, knocking the victim off his self-built pedestal, all these elements will make us to laugh. These are the some of the traits, some of the elements which are to be imbibed when you construct a comedy play. And farce is also a part of a comedy. It is a type of a comedy which is designed to provoke the audience a hearty laughter, belly laughter, मतलब खुलकर बहुत खुली laughter create करने के लिए हम farce को use करते हैं. कॉमेडी में थोड़ा सटिलनेस हो सकता है, फार्स में सटिलनेस होने की जरूरत नहीं है, इसमें ज्यादा बफूनरी हो सकती है. This employ highly exaggerated or caricatured types of characters, put them into improbable and ludicrous situations that makes free use of sexual mix-up. It can be a sexual mix-up, broad verbal humor exchange, and physical excuse me, physical exaggeration of the body movement, and so on and so forth. At the times, the sustained brilliance and wit of a dialogue, it can also achieve this kind of a comic element in a better way. The characters in farce are usually single-minded, seeking to satisfy their own will and wish, and they are sometimes reckless also. Little emphasis is on the depth of the character. Depth of the characters in the sense that once we talk about dimensions of the characters, they should not be taken very seriously. because they have having only a single-minded attitude towards their life, towards the situations which they are facing. They don't put their much of a psychological dimension into their actions and their reactions. So it that point is actually creating the laughter point. The comedy, this thus the comedy which focuses physical humor or slapstick is called farce. Plot complications, mistaken identities matlab we mistake somebody who is very intelligent but he's not, but we mistake a very intelligent guy as a fool. That is also a part of your structure of and miscommunication. एक कैरेक्टर एक बोल रहा है कि दूसरा कैरेक्टर दूसरा समझ रहा है, इसीलिए भी कॉमिक कॉमेडी क्रिएट होती है. एंड द फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन एंड द बॉडी जेस्चर्स bring farce to life. Farce is effective in performance rather than in literature, in the sense that once you read a farcical play, you may not understand the wit of what is actually going on it. When you see from page to stage, when it is actually performed in terms of the facial expressions and the using the body language, then only you can enjoy. As a reader, you may not be able to enjoy the comedy part or a farcical part of it, but when you see it visually, then only you can enjoy it. For example, if you see the Charlie Chaplin and the other Keaton becomes the master of past when these, if you read those storylines of those films, you may not be enjoying it. But when you see physically Charlie Chaplin, his actions, his body language, and his facial expressions, especially, so which will create a very farcical kind of expression. Now the other term is coming at tragic comedy. Tragic comedy is the both like it's a mix up of tragic element and comedy element also. According to Horace, life is a comedy to those who think, a tragedy those who feel. भावनाओं में जो बहते हैं उनके लिए थोड़ा ट्रेजेडी हो जाती है लाइफ, और बैठकर सोचते हैं उनके लिए शायद लाइफ कॉमेडी है. ये उनका ओपिनियन है. It can be debatable. Not all plays fit into a single category. Sometimes if you see a play, neither it is comedy nor a tragedy. In fact, the most plays consisting the both the elements are two or more genres. मतलब comedy भी हो सकती है, tragedy, and there can be a farce also. It was a type of Elizabethan and Jacobean drama which intermingled both the standard characters and subject matter and standard plots of tragedy and both as well as comedy. In Elizabethan Jacobean period only, you can see this kind of a genre which can be called as a tragic comedy. People were of high degree and low degree, and the plot was serious criticism with a lowbrow farce and slapstick humor also. And sometimes it happens. It is thus defined as an interpretation of emotional reaction where tragedy and comedy are both present, yet one does not merely follow upon the other but arises from it. In the sense कि ट्रेजेडी और कॉमेडी एक ही प्ले में इस टाइप का एलिमेंट्स होने के बावजूद कोई भी एक दूसरे को ऊपर डिपेंडेंट नहीं है या एक को दूसरा लीड करता है, बट वो अपने आप इंडिपेंडेंटली लीड करते हैं. कभी कभी दोनों के ऊपर इफेक्ट भी डालते हैं, मगर वो इंटरडिपेंडेबल नहीं है. History plays, this is another genre. The chronicle plays were dramatic works based on the historical materials in the English chronics by Raphael, Holyshedde and others. These are historical dramas like हमारे पास भी औरंगजेब के बारे में भी plays है. There are many plays like we have some Rana plays and Marathas का heroes का भी plays है. They are all depend on the history, mixing some kind of a fiction to create the interest in the audience, because only history cannot be performed very interestingly on stage. These works are achieved with high popularity in 16th century. The early chronicle plays were loosely knit series of historical events and depended on effect on the stage battles. Stage battles, stage के ऊपर लड़ाइयों को दिखाने में ही इसकी interest sustain करती है. Otherwise, they are all historical events, chronological events which are put up in the form of a performance. Public were fascinated by these historical dramas. The dramatic presentation of historical events such as Julius Caesar, Richard II, Edward I, Henry V are very popular in Elizabethan historical plays, and recent examples are Arthur Miller's The Crucible, Robert Bolt's The Man for All Seasons. These are all modern historical plays also. And problem play. Problem play is a different genre. The problem play pertaining to a drama with a specific contemporary problem by making the protagonist to face it. For example, we are taking a problem of pollution. This can be a problematic play. Water pollution. This can be a problematic play. Usage of plastic. These problems are faced by the protagonist, mainly protagonist. Because of him, the problem play going to lead to different kinds of scenes and sequences. It was a type of drama popularized by Henrik Ibsen. The dramatist manages to propose a solution to the problem, which accords with the prevailing opinion. He can also propose, but it doesn't happen every time. हर बार वो एक सोल्यूशन देने की कोशिश नहीं करते, बट एक डिबेट तो वहां पे शुरू होता है. इस तरह का प्लेसमेंट फ्रॉम द Shakespearean's measures for measure and all and all's well that ends well by to Ibsen's A Doll's House, Shaw's Mr. Warren's Profession were the best example for the problem plays as they explore the problems like morality, behavior कैसी होनी चाहिए, what is the opinion about the capital punishment and dignity of woman, how we should respect the woman, and the capitalistic society, what are the problems which are being faced by the people with because of this capitalism and all, and race, racialism, and then some kind of ethnic issues. For example, the enemy of the people also. Social issues are neither incorporated into the plot nor debated among the characters, but may not be necessarily search for a solution. That's what I was telling earlier also. Every problem ke liye, there may not be, we cannot find a solution in the play, but it can also remain unsolved. But surely these problem plays will create a base, create a dais to discuss the problems which are very much contemporary. Such plays create awareness on the social issues and force the spectators to think. This is also leading to some kind of Brechtian plays also. Now we are coming to realistic drama. Realistic drama is like presentation of drama with the aim to conveying a convincing representation of real life. In the sense that life को आप कैसे देखते हैं उसी तरह आपको स्टेज के ऊपर भी इस तरह का बिहेवियर दिखेगा, क्योंकि ड्रामा बोलते ही देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ एग्जैगरेशन इन योर वर्बैटिज्म, जैसे डायलॉग डिलीवरी में भी, और विद योर बॉडी मूवमेंट एंड ऑल दैट, but it does not happen in realistic play. You see your fellow neighbor, the same kind of a behavior, how he or she is behaving, the same kind of a behavior you can also see on the stage without any exaggeration and with a local kind of a language, or there is no much modulation in the dialogue delivery. An authentic representation of life that is believable and could actually happen. सचमुच वो हो सकता है. So that whatever is happening in a realistic play, you can easily relate it to your life. That is the main importance of the realistic play. In attempting to create a perfect illusion of reality, playwrights, directors, they have rejected the dramatic conventions that had existed since the beginning of drama. What are the conventions? Like the actors, in the name of characters, they are shouting, they are exaggerating everything. They don't speak in a local language. They also speak in a poetic language, which is very much dramatic. Why this realistic drama is coming up? When the science got improved, everybody is finding the cause and effect method. Why should we behave like this? When there is no exaggeration, there is no need for exaggeration. There is no need to understand any problem to exaggerate that or use poetic language. Then the realistic things are coming up. For example, actors facing the audience so that they can be heard. The room has 4 walls, even though 3 walls are visible. The fourth wall concept, the fourth wall is being removed for the convenience of the audience to see what exactly happening inside. And dramatic content, it is departure from the exaggeration to audience must accept in order to enjoy drama. ड्रामेटिक कन्वेंशंस को तोड़ दिया उन्होंने. ज़्यादा बोलना, ज़्यादा मेकअप करना और ज़्यादा पुकारना, ज़्यादा शाउट करना, इन सारे चीज़ों के लिए विमुक्ति किया है रियलिस्टिक प्ले. मेन फीचर ऑफ रियलिस्टिक ड्रामा इज a focus on the real life. पहले जमाने में if you take a protagonist, he is coming from a higher family, but you see a realistic play, it can be anybody, a rickshaw wala, a common man, a common clerk. He need not be coming from a very high strata of the society. It can be anybody. An emphasis on the behavior and tough decisions, that is the other element. बिलीवेबल डायलॉग इन द सेंस कि बोलचाल भाषा में हम जैसे बात करते हैं उस तरह का ही डायलॉग लिखा जाता है. एंड कॉमन everyday settings in the sense कि if you see the play also, the settings are also not giving any kind of a imaginary, they are not talking into any kind of a imaginary situations. A drawing room is there which you can see in your own drawing room. The same site of setup is there to make it more believability. People who wrote realistic play from a realistic perspective created true life stories. True life को भी उन्होंने लिया है, and they have seen some characters there. The same characters are depicted. Settings, the conflicts which they have seen in their life, they are being portrayed. People could relate very. देखते ही हमें relate कर सकते हैं कि हाँ इस तरह का कैरेक्टर मैंने देखा है, या शायद इस कैरेक्टर में मेरे भी कुछ गुण है इनमें. ठीक है. In the late 19th century, drama aimed to replace the artificial romantic style with an accurate depiction of the ordinary people in reasonable situations. That is the realistic drama. In the beginning of drama, convention has existed. जैसे हम पहले भी बात कर रहे थे कि पहले जमाने में जो लैंग्वेज लिखा जाता है या एक्टिंग स्टाइल था, which was very much stylized. But these were later rejected by the directors, playwrights to attempt to create a perfect illusion. उसकी बात हमने की है. This movement revolutionized the contemporary theater in every aspect, in the sense कि acting, scenery, styles of acting, dialogue delivery, and your makeup and your attire. They moved away from the melodrama and still to a dialogue, to a plain, truthful language of reality, which was led by Ernie Ibsen, who is also often called as the father of modern realism. Ibsen से ये शुरू हुआ है और उनको कहा जाता है कि he is the father of the modern realism. Poetic drama. This is the another genre. In poetic drama, the dialogue are written in verse, which is in English is usually a blank verse. This was chiefly associated with the works of Eliot and some other playwrights. Murder in the Cathedral, The Family Reunion. These are some of the plays important of this genre. Eliot, he emphasized the vigorous and bold use of all devices proper to these forms of verse drama, emphatic melody, alliterative values, arresting imaginary. Language also creates some kind of a images once you use the poetic kind of a rendering. The dialogue is also shaped that the audience are made conscious of the fact that they are listening to a verse at all. So they know that what they are actually looking at the performance. There is no kind of a realistic dialogues are written. The drama floats on the moving words and the musical melodies. Even there is a melody in the dialogues. They can be sung sometimes. The choruses were formal with fluid. Spanish writer Loca made effective use of poetic overtones. He has written the play called House of Bernard Alba, Blood Wedding, and Irma. These are the very famous plays of this poetic drama structure. And now we are coming to a very important structure called epic theater, which was popularized by Bertolt Brecht in Germany in around 1920s. It cut across the traditional divisions, like it is also cutting the, it is negating the realistic dramas, realistic and naturalistic drama styles also. Epic telling is the main objective of the epic theater. What is that? The storytelling will be impartial and it is detached with any kind of an influence. It is very neutral kind of a storytelling, unbiased, in the sense that we are not either supporting the antagonist or protagonist or whoever. We are not supporting any concept on that, but we are mainly discussing the problem which is created in the form of the play. The beginning of the epic theater coincide with the German experiments in the use of theater as an instrument for political instruction. Brecht actually rejected the conventional theater, for he said that it is related in the sense without imbibing on the mind. In the sense कि he is saying कि a spectator after seeing a performance while going home, he should think about, वो थोड़ा परेशान होना चाहिए कि इस तरह का प्रॉब्लम जो मैंने अभी प्ले में देखा है, why it is happening, what is the cause, basic cause, root cause for that. He's just enjoying the play and going. No, the audience mind should be, वो डिस्टरबेंस होना चाहिए. उस तरह का एक मोमेंट क्रिएट किया ब्रैक्ट ने कि उस प्रॉब्लम के बारे में सोचे, ना कि उसमें हम एम्पैथी में चला जाए. देयर आर टू थिंग्स ना, एम्पैथी एंड सिंपैथी. We empathize and sometimes we sympathize with the characters. Brecht doesn't want these two. He wants the audience to think about the problem. Because of that, he has created a new style of acting, which is like using V effect. Brecht rejected the conventional theater for, he said, it is delighted the sense without imbibing the mind, that which I have told you. In his essay, he said, how can theater be entertaining and at the same time instructive? इंस्ट्रक्टिव इन द सेंस कि डायडैक्टिज्म जैसे बोलते हैं ना, विद्यात्मक हिंदी में हम कहा जाए तो एंटरटेनमेंट के अलावा हमें कुछ सीखने को भी कुछ मिलेगा क्या? ये दोनों चीज साइमल्टेनियस में थिएटर में हो पाएंगे? ये उनका सवाल था. ही वाज लुकिंग एट अ थिएटर दैट वुड हेल्प टू चेंज द वर्ल्ड इन द सेंस कि वर्ल्ड का जो सिस्टम जो चल रही है, तो हमने मान लिया कि ये ऐसा ही होगा, तो ये नहीं होगा कि ये ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है, अगर ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए तो हमें क्या करना है. These are the questions which are supposed to be put up by the audience and the common man to resolve his own issues which he or the society is facing. Brecht sometimes compared his plays to scientific experiments that can change for better lay. At the center is the thinking, man's thinking power. In epic theater, man's thinking is conditioned by his social situation and change if that changes. In the sense कि आदमी का सोचने का तरीका उसके सोशल सिचुएशंस के ऊपर चेंज हो सकता है. कभी भी एक ही रूल पॉइंट को हम कंटिन्यू नहीं कर सकते. जैसे सोशल सोसाइटी में चेंजेस हो रहे हैं, हमें भी उस चेंजेस को एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा, आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा. ही इज द एजेंट ऑफ सोशल चेंज. ही इज चेंजिंग द theater can change the society, just not accepting everything. Mother Courage and her children is a good example of an epic play. By employing a detached narrator and the other devices to achieve alienation effect, Brecht aimed to subvert the sympathy of the audience and the identification of the actor with his role. In the sense कि suppose एक play में किसी का murder हुआ है, तो we sympathize. Sometimes we also empathize. We go on cry just seeing that incident. But Brecht doesn't want to do that. What happens in his play, once the actor is killed, immediately the actor gets up and speaks to the audience. He says, देखा अभी मेरा कत्ल हुआ है, आप ये सोचिए कि मेरा कत्ल क्यों हुआ है. So this is the breakage which he wants. He doesn't want the audience to go with that incident. They should think about why this incident has happened. So इसको हम उसने break किया. He called it as created some kind of a alienation effect. Audience are being alienated, getting getting the impression of that scene, and they are going to empathize or sympathize with that particular scene. No, they must be detached, and they should think that why that kind of a scene are being created, who is the main culprit for this kind of a situation, to resolve that problem, what we should do. That is his aim. Okay. He hoped to encourage the audience to criticize and oppose the social conditions. The theater of illusion had already carefully concealed everything, but Brecht used certain kind of a devices. He used to have lights, white lights. There is no color lights. Color lights means they can create a imaginary kind of a illusion. He doesn't want to do that. Some songs are imbibed into this play to kill the time and attach these certain kinds of scenes, attach one time period to the other time period. He used to use, songs and dances, and sometimes Brecht theory, which is completely reject the Aristotle principles, regarded a play is a series of loosely connected scenes dispensed with dramatic climaxes and used to songs to comment on the situation. There is a situation is going on, There is no lengthy dialogues are written, but there is a song. Song is given as a comment to that. Okay, and this is the main comparison of dramatic theater and epic theater, which you can. I'm just sharing with you. You can read it later. And the last but not least, the theater of upset, अनिबद्धता, हिंदी में हम कहा जाए. It is a term applied to a drama that reflects the attitudes that the universe is without any purpose and the human life is futile. Futile in the sense it is useless, pointless, unsuccessful, vain, and sometimes it is meaningless. इस तरह की जो आलोचना से उभरता है theater of absurd. Theater of absurd doesn't have, in such circumstances, why theater of absurd का जन्म कैसे हुआ, मतलब at the time of these world wars and all that, people have started thinking that their life is useless, the human life is useless and pointless. There is no point to live because anytime anything can happen. There is a number of deaths are happening without war. If war is happening, what is the role of a common man? Two countries deciding, two countries heads of the countries are deciding, then the war is happening. Because of that, there is a lot of loss, children, women, and every kinds of loss is happening. Where is the existence of God? Where is the existence of supernatural power? Earlier people used to believe that there is a supernatural power which is going to save us, and the situations will be getting better, but nothing is happening. In such kind of a situation, the theater of absurd originated. Under these circumstances, man's existence becomes very absurd. Why we are here? I mean, there is no point to live now. There is no point to take interest in any other things which are happening in the society. In the both the form and the content, the absurd theater portrays human beings in a isolated from each other. There is no one particular society. Even the lines are like that. One line, the other line doesn't have any connection. If you see the absurd structure, एक लाइन और दूसरी लाइन में कोई रिलेशन ही नहीं है. एक लाइन एक दूसरा अर्थ को आपको समझाता है, तो दूसरा लाइन जो होता है वो कुछ और अर्थ के ऊपर ले जाता है, या कि इसमें कोई अर्थ ही नहीं होता है. ऐसा भी होता है. देयर इज नो कन्वेंशनल प्लॉट, लाइक देयर इज अ स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट, मिडिल पॉइंट, एंड पॉइंट. जैसे हम कन्वेंशनल प्लॉट की बात करते हैं, ऐसा देयर इज नो साउंड, नथिंग लाइक दैट. डायलॉग और इवन द कैरेक्टर मोटिवेशन, देयर इज नो मोटिवेशन फॉर कैरेक्टर एट ऑल. There can be a motivation, there may not be a motivation. There can be 100 motivations at a time, and there is a zero motivation at a time. So that kind of a characters were created. It is formless and apparent irrationality, or the expressions of the absurd predicament of a man whose existence has no reason. एक आदमी जिंदा हो रहा है, जिंदा है, तो उसका कोई मतलब ही नहीं है. उस तरह का सिचुएशन में ये प्लेस हुए हैं. जैसे वार सिचुएशन में हम होता है, या फिर हम आप देखिए कोरोना सिचुएशन में भी कुछ लोगों को इस तरह का फीलिंग हुआ कि आगे जाके देयर इज नथिंग, देयर इज नो होप. In that kind of a situation, the absurdity, the state of mind will go into a very kind of a absurdistic ideas. In those situations, the playwrights were written such kind of a plays. But these kind of absurd plays, they were very much failures when it comes to Indian context, because we believe a karma system. We have some kind of a system. We still have some hope in our own Indian philosophy that there is a God or a supernatural power or a system which can make us to survive, and whatever we do we will get it. That kind of a situation. जो आप करते हैं वही आपको मिलता है. इस तरह का philosophy still we believe, that which making us uh, get away with the idea of absurdity. We don't believe in absurdity. We say that yes, we have done this mistake, because of that simple reason we are facing these problems, or we have done some good things, because of that we are going to get some good life or better life than what we are leading now. In the important playwrights were the Beckett, Ionesco, Harold Pinter, Edward Albee, and Adam Howe. These are the some of the famous writers. But as I told you, as a genre, one should read the absurd theater, which also creates some kind of a disturbance in the state of minds of the readers and as well as the performers. but as a generic difference, one should read these things. After going through this unit, we get to know that there are different kinds of plays, such as tragedy, comedy, melodrama, absurd plays. Why? What is the main elements of each and individual typology of these plays that we are trying to understand, and that's all for the today. In the name of understanding, I mean, different types of drama. So I hope I am. Okay, what is happening? Yeah. So, is there any questions? Any questions from anybody?
No, sir.
Okay. So, Sumit,
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
good morning.
Good afternoon, sir. Sorry. Sir, thank you for such an informative session, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I just had one doubt because मैं साथ साथ search कर रहा था. So, sir, ये सारी categories almost cover हो गई, but there is this concept of play within a play. For example, sir, accidental death of an anarchist. So, sir, I just wanted to ask कि उसे हम differently कहीं categorize करेंगे because Hamlet में भी एक थोड़ा session होता है जिसमें वो play within a play वाला आता है. So हम इसे कहीं differently categorize करते हैं या this is just a like floating term or like what
This
is
is a
it?
floating time because you see,
Okay.
there is something called subplot भी होता है ना,
जी जी.
subplot का भी होता है. Come, you see a major play, simultaneously this subplot is going on, like in any other play or in a movie. You see the protagonist का भी कहानी चल रही है, comedian का भी scene चल रहा है. Play within the play हो सकता है. There is meta theater also, theater within theater, but they are all they cannot be generic difference as such.
Okay. So basic हाँ जी जी sir.
जॉनरिक डिफरेंस इन द सेंस कि ट्रेजेडी एक जॉनर हो गया, उसी जॉनर में आप लिख रहे हो. प्ले विद इन द प्ले, इट कैन हैपन एट सम टाइम्स, नॉट एवरी टाइम. So it cannot be considered as a one particular genre. It can be called as a one of the technique of the playwright he or she is using to make it interesting of their own play structures.
Yes, sir. Sir, basically I read an article. तो उसमें यही डिबेट था कि क्या हम उसे एक डिफरेंट कैटेगरी दे सकते हैं. So they said that there are few critics that call it nested stories.
Okay.
तो उसमें हम उसे कैटेगराइज कर सकते हैं, बट ऑफ कोर्स सर इवन आई बिलीव कि वो कहीं भी हो सकता है, तो मतलब डिफरेंट कैटेगरी में. आई जस्ट वांटेड टू कंफर्म.
That's what I'm saying ना. There is something, if you see the Macbeth also, Macbeth में भी Macduff का स्टोरी भी चल रहा है आपको.
जी सर जी, एग्जैक्टली.
स्टोरी Macduff के बारे में भी बता रहे हैं हम लोग, Macbeth के बारे में भी बता रहे हैं. The story is that is there in imbibed, but it cannot be called as a genre as such.
Okay sir.
That is my opinion.
जी सर, थैंक यू सो मच सर. थैंक यू.
Yes sir. Any other? Okay. Okay, guys. So many people are asking about the assignments. Just wait for the time being, because we have not yet started the face-to-face classes for your practical purposes. So once the things get improved, then we can think about the assignments, and we will give you time. Don't worry about that. Okay. So if there are no questions for today, I'm going to stop here, and we will come out with some other interesting topic for next week. Okay. Any other questions, final, or any other clarifications about the course and all? Okay. There are no questions. Then I'm calling it a day. Thank you. Thank you for the session.